Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about how The Last Jedi is being used to teach screenwriting, but bad screenwriting.
Right.
That's right. The Last Jedi is so terrible that they're using it to teach how not to write screenplays.
Right. But you know, it's not because it was a bad movie, it's just man babies.
It's just the man babies. This is actually very, very interesting. I saw this on Bounding in the Comics yesterday. So the Bionic Woman producer, Kamran Pasha, I think that's how you pronounce his name, uses Star Wars The Last Jedi to teach about bad screenwriting. Ironically, as we read through this article, I think he uses the original Star Wars to teach good screenwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting. So Bionic Woman and King's producer, Hollywood producer, Kamran Pasha, who also teaches screenwriting seminars, made it very clear he uses Star Wars The Last Jedi to instruct his students on how not to write a screenplay.
But that's not true. He's just a man baby white supremacist who hates strong women.
So before we get into that, just Kamran Pasha, a little bit of a background. Kamran Pasha is Muslim. He's not a white person, and he also writes for Huffington Post, which is a very far left publication, but he's got a lot of creds. He worked on Tron Uprising, so huge props to Kamran for that. That's very cool.
Well, before we do that, we should tell people to subscribe.
We should tell people to subscribe.
So you need to subscribe. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Also, please check to make sure you're still subscribed, because for whatever reason, YouTube is again doing a purge. Even though they just did a purge. And every time they do these purges, a bunch of people get unsubscribed who are real people. So make sure you're still subscribed.
Yeah, we have people complain to us all the time that they're getting unsubscribed and they are doing another purge. So
there you go, because that seems like they're doing it every month now.
Yeah, we're geared up for 2020.
That's right.
So Pasha responded to a tweet from Wired staff producer Adam Lance Garcia, who pondered, "I have no idea how anyone can spend years being angry about a movie.
I have no idea why people can't learn from their mistakes and fix it."
Yeah, I don't think The Rise of Skywalker is going to fix it. One user responded that they're fascinated by The Last Jedi because every time they watch, they find more basic errors in screenwriting, editing, and plain script coherence. They seem to grow in a number of severity. I think as people watch it repeatedly, they're going to realize that, like, didn't somebody say it was Rian Johnson's first draft? He basically just did something like that. He basically just wrote it, directed, boom.
Well, that makes sense.
You know, they added is just a hemorrhage of how not to write a script. That's when Kamran Pasha weighed in. He stated, "I've done screenwriting seminars at Columbia, University of Chicago, and other great schools." So this is not like mixed school. This is not the Sally Struthers correspondence school. Like, this guy is a Hollywood producer teaching at Columbia and University of Chicago.
And not white. And the only reason I'm stressing that is because it always comes down to,
always comes back to being like, oh my God, it's some far right, ultra conservative, misogynist
who hates strong females and hates minorities and hates everybody who isn't white and like them and male.
And Kamran Pasha is a very well-known, I guess, Hollywood producer who is not white.
Also a writer, novelist too.
Also a novelist, also writes for the Huffington Post, which is a pretty far left publication. So this is not coming from a quote-unquote white supremacist. So this is what Pasha said. He said, "I always use Star Wars to teach students how to write a screenplay, the original Star Wars. Now I add, The Last Jedi will show you how to do it wrong."
Exactly. But no, it's not because it wasn't a good movie. It's just because you're all man baby haters who don't like strong female characters.
Wow, this is interesting. This isn't the first time Pasha has spoken out about the problems with The Last Jedi. Back in October, he detailed that there are a number of Hollywood screenwriters who share his distaste.
I have heard this.
For The Last Jedi. He even says most won't speak about it in public for fear of Disney.
We have heard this. Actually, we know a lot of people. Okay, I'm not name dropping or whatever, but we know a lot of people who work in Hollywood, in different areas of Hollywood. And we're hearing the exact same thing from many of them. They said it is a hated movie in Hollywood, but no one will say so because they're too afraid of the backlash.
Well, yeah, because if they speak out against the sequel trilogy, and it's not just The Last Jedi, just in general, I've heard a lot of people don't like the sequel trilogy. Disney owns like 75% of Hollywood at this point.
But it's not a monopoly.
It's not a monopoly at all.
Unless you're in South Korea.
But I mean, this guy worked for Disney. Kamran Pasha worked for Disney. He worked on Tron Uprising. You know, so when he's telling you they're afraid of Disney, yeah, Disney, they are so, for a company that has so much power, they are so insecure. They will blacklist you for virtually anything. So yeah, these screenwriters, these producers are like, you know, they're playing along with it, and it is like the Emperor's New Clothes.
But I've compared to that many times, and we have heard this so many times from so many people that work in Hollywood.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you gonna do? You go against the mouse, you're not gonna get the work because they keep buying up studios like crazy. And you know, but then what happens is it trickles down to the media too. Why does the media defend this movie, this sequel trilogy, when it's clear that a lot of people don't like it? Because they want the access. You know, if you are a blog covering movies in Hollywood and all of a sudden Disney shuts you off, you don't get to talk to their people.
Yeah, you lose a lot, because it's not just like you're losing just one franchise. You're losing a lot by not going there. So what happens is people their narrative is to attack fans, which makes the problem worse. And Disney is being very short-sighted, which I know Disney listens to these, so I'm talking to you. You're being very short-sighted in allowing that to happen. You're better to, you know, say, okay, well, we're going to try to fix it going forward. Not let the media slam and smear fans, because that just actually turns more people off.
Yep.
So
they're afraid of Disney, and we have heard this. Not only does Pasha use The Last Jedi to teach about bad screenwriting, but he describes the movie as a garbage film that is poorly written and motivated by ideological issues from people who have no love for Star Wars.
Oh my God, yes! Wait, we have to take a moment.
Thank you. Clearly, it's only alt-right white supremacists who hate the last
misogynistic men
who hate The Last Jedi. Clearly, that's it. That's what this whole thing is about. They hate The Last Jedi because it's just man babies. But no, this guy also shares the opinion that a lot of fans share, and a lot of people in Hollywood who come to us share. Yes, that's actually my opinion. Ike Ball? I don't know who he's. The Last Jedi is a garbage film. It's so poorly written and motivated by ideological issues from people who have no love for Star Wars.
Yeah, it's not about what Star Wars is about. It's about trying to push agendas. It's about trying to make false characters that are strong characters, but they're so cookie cutter, shallow characters that it just falls flat. And then the characters that Rey might have been a good character, but they ruined her by what they've done. And then other characters you're interested in, like Poe and Finn, that they're now retroactively trying to make a team and make them likable. Last movie they went out of their way to make them unlikable, and now you're trying to believe that they're all team and likable again, that they all have learned their lesson thanks to all the women, and that they are now all on the same team, and they're all strong, good characters that are now likable and aren't cowards for no reason.
They check their privilege now, including Finn. He checked his privilege, so now he's allowed to hang out with
But neither
Rey.
one of those guys are white.
I know.
But they have penis, and that's problematic.
Penises are problematic. Yes, current year penises.
Well, we don't know what happened to Claude. Just saying.
I love this. The Last Jedi is garbage, says former Disney employee.
You know what? We will proudly own that opinion as well.
Yeah, The Last Jedi is garbage. I'll proudly own that opinion until I die.
I agree. I won't even watch it again.
He also said that the film was emotionally dead. It was.
Agree.
Mark Hamill was crying at the end of the movie. Probably because he's thinking about how Luke Skywalker is forever ruined. They have forever ruined
I
Luke.
wasn't crying. I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, and normally, you have to understand, I'm a person who cries over commercials. Like, I'm banned from watching dog videos on Facebook, even with happy endings, because I will sob hysterically, even if it's a cute dog video and he's like, playing with a poof ball. I'm one of those people. I mean, call it being a woman or hormones or whatever. I'm just one of those people. I rolled my eyes.
Within the first 10 minutes of The Last Jedi, Geeky's looking over at me. She is rolling her eyes. She's throwing her hands up in the air. She's like, what the hell is that? When they did the Your Mama joke, I threw my hands up in the air when Leia Mary Poppins her way out of the cold.
Squid King calls it Space Jesus.
Space Jesus her way out of the cold expanse of... I don't care if you're a Jedi or not. If you're in outer space for more than a couple seconds, you're going to freeze. Look at Arnold in the Magic School Bus. He took his helmet off. And he froze. I don't care if you're
back.
Yeah,
but he was ginger.
They brought Leia back.
But he was ginger. So it was more of a thing that they brought back a ginger, because we know Hollywood likes to get rid of ginger.
Who's got to die? The ginger kid.
That's right.
He's stupid. He takes his helmet off. He freaking freezes. Leia would have froze to death. She would have. I don't care if you've got the
Leia
Force.
had red hair, she would have been dead.
That's true. That's true. That is true. So he even defends the Phantom Menace. He's like, look, because people, this is what people keep using too. They're like, oh my God, but you defend the prequels, but
if I have to hear about Jar Jar one more time.
You defend the prequels, but you're throwing shade at the sequels. The prequels had, well, one, they had the touch of George. So regardless of the
George
acting.
Lucas, because sometimes if you're just a touch of any other George, it can get you arrested.
The touch of George. But there was a good story in there. You can argue whether or not it was executed well, but the basic story was actually pretty decent. And the prequels had their moments. He points that out. Kamran Pasha says, the Phantom Menace had Duel of the Fates, one of the greatest lightsaber battles in the history of Star Wars. I agree with that. Even people who hate the Phantom Menace are like, yeah, I gotta admit, the lightsaber battle was pretty damn good. The Last Jedi did not even have one proper lightsaber battle. Then they slow-mode.
It was Rey and Kylo, and they were back-to-back taking out everyone. But they weren't fighting each other, but they were lightsaber slicing everyone else. So that was the battle. In slow-mo, Matrix style, which does not even fit Star Wars at all. Like, it just was not even Star Wars. The Phantom Menace also had some touching scenes between Anakin and his mom. The Last Jedi was emotionally dead. Rose was all the emotion you needed. She was perfect, and she even almost sacrificed herself to knock Finn's ship out of the way and take away his agency in deciding whether or not he was going to ruin it.
Yeah, I don't even get that.
Because love. Because of love.
I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I don't get it.
I didn't feel love either. I rolled my eyes. Anyway.
I felt anger. I felt anger and betrayal because we finally get to see Luke Skywalker again, and they ruined him. They completely ruined Luke forever.
Look how young they look there compared to what you see them looking like in the latest pictures from the last movie. Do you notice? Is it just me?
It's all the trolls on Twitter. They've been through some shit. Because all the trolls on Twitter made Daisy Ridley age about 30 years.
Well, she keeps joking. And she's not wrong. I know she was serious, but she was saying about she doesn't, quote unquote, no one's ever going to like it, and that I don't give a shit. It's basically what she's saying.
Yeah.
And, I kind of can't blame her at the same time because she's probably so tired of hearing about it that it's not funny. But she also made comments like, you're not allowed to tell her that stuff isn't good because that's not fair to someone's job. So from now on, just so you know, if you go anywhere and get bad service, you're not allowed to say anything about that because that's their job, and that's just rude.
God. So yeah, finally some adults are speaking, and I think
some adults are speaking.
I think after the dust settles with the Rise of Skywalker, I think we're gonna have more Hollywood people come out and be like, yeah, I actually hated those movies, but I wasn't allowed to say anything because I wanted to work. I mean, and then you see how it's actually done correctly. You look at The Mandalorian, okay, it's just a TV show, but it's infinitely better Star Wars than what the sequels have given us. And you've got Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who frankly should have been put in charge of all of Star Wars and was not. And they basically just let Rian Johnson do whatever the hell he wanted with a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
And as much as they keep saying that this was planned from the beginning, they keep making these comments and people have proven that that's not true. Other writers have come out. Colin Trevorrow came out and said that wasn't true. We didn't have the Emperor planned in here from the beginning. That's not true. They're just so what they tell you, don't believe half of it because they're just trying to retcon and save face at this point.
Wait about 6 months. Wait about 6 months after The Rise of Skywalker comes out, and I think the shit's gonna start to come out.
There was no plan, and that was the biggest. That is fundamentally the biggest problem of all of this there was no plan. Now, you can get away with that with the original movies because it was being made up as it went, and it was establishing canon as it went. You might be able to get away with that, but you cannot get away with it now on the sequel trilogy when everything's already been established.
Yeah.
You just can't.
But I will back up Kamran Pasha again.
Again, let's give him a moment.
Yeah. We do know people in and around Hollywood. We have had people come to us who don't want to go on record as saying certain things, and The Last Jedi is despised in Hollywood. It is, from what we gather, it is.
But The Mandalorian is quickly getting quite the following.
The Mandalorian is getting quite the following, yes, because that is the way.
That is the way.
That is the way.
You have spoken.
That is the way. That is the way you do Star Wars. You give it to people who actually like Star Wars, not people who have an agenda and who clearly hate Star Wars and hate Luke Skywalker in particular.
And went around bragging that their whole way of doing things is to subvert everything.
Yep.
Why would you ever think that was a good idea? On something that has lore established as much as Star Wars.
Let's just take something that the fans love and flush it down the toilet just to give them the finger, and then...
No, it's not the finger. It's subversion. There's a difference. God, subversion makes you better.
Whatever. If they give Rian Johnson a trilogy, they're smoking copious amounts of crack. But I have a feeling, given that Knives Out did better than they expected, but they had no real hope.
Better than they expected is subjective, because comparatively speaking, it still didn't do that great.
They're case building already, though.
I know.
And again, I do not want him anywhere near Star Wars, but I think he might possibly get that trilogy. That might be the last thing.
I don't know if they're that dumb.
I don't know. That might be the last thing that Kathleen Kennedy does before she leaves.
Colossally stupid. But just because she does it doesn't mean it can't be undone.
Well, that's true, because they were supposed to have all kinds of movies coming out, and they've all been undone.
Some of the movies I would have liked to have seen,
Yeah.
But they're turning them on TV shows, so.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people for whatever reason, whatever plans they have.
We're not the right kind of people.
We're not the right kind of people. We're not the right kind of people who keep our subs who wanted to sub.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.